In this tutorial, we will be discussing how to create and modify quizzes, as well as how to add randomized question sets to your quiz in Desire to Learn. So to begin, you'll go up to Assessment and select Quizzes and Exams from the drop-down menu. And when you arrive at the quiz page, click on the button New Quiz. And we will begin setting up our new quiz. So under the name, we will enter week number 1 quiz. And from there, you'll scroll down and you'll see a section titled Quiz Questions with a button to add or edit questions. We will be doing this, but I'm actually going to come back to it after we finish setting up this quiz. So we'll hold off on that for now and go ahead and proceed to our next tab. I want to note that when you change tabs, you'll actually see this created successfully notification at the bottom of the screen. And this is a great feature because as you go from tab to tab when you're creating or even modifying a quiz, it actually will save for you, so you don't have to click the save button every single time. So moving on with our restrictions options, one important thing is we definitely want to change this to active so that our students can access it. There is an availability start and end date if you wish to add that. What we're going to do for right now is we're actually just going to enforce a time limit on our quiz. So I'll select that option, and I'm going to enter the time limit as 90 minutes with a 5-minute grace period. And after that grace period has finished, we'll leave the late behavior as quiz is flagged as late, but the student can continue working. Now we're going to move on to our assessment tab. And from here, we definitely want to check the allow attempt to be set as graded immediately upon completion so that it can be graded as soon as the student finishes. The next drop-down is very important. This will actually connect the quiz to an item in your grade book. So we will click on the drop-down and we want to associate this with our week number 1 quiz item because this is our week number 1 quiz. And then also we'll check the box for allow automatic export to grades. Just makes your life easier as the instructor. If you wanted to add a rubric for grading this quiz, you can do so by clicking here and it will pull up any rubrics that you've created. I don't actually have a rubric for this quiz, so I won't be adding one at this point. And then we'll allow 1 attempt down here at the bottom and highest attempt. We don't have anything under Objectives tab, so I will skip that one and go to Submission Views. And we'll click on this default view link. And I'm just making sure that the Show Questions is set to No and that Show Attempt Score and Overall Attempt Score is checked, which they're already there, so we're good to go. I'll go ahead and click Save now because this is my last set of setups. And we'll go ahead and click on Save and Close. So we'll see our week number 1 quiz has been created. However, if you remember, we did not add any questions. So we'll go ahead and do that at this time. We'll click this arrow next to our week number 1 quiz and click on Edit from the dropdown. Now we will go ahead and click on Add/Edit Questions. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a set of randomized questions from the library. So we'll click on New and select Random Section. We do want to give this section a name, and I think it's always a good practice to note in the name that it is a randomized section. So let's do Randomized Section for week number 1 quiz. And then we can go ahead and just click on Save. So now we actually need to add the questions to this section that we've created. So to do so, you can just click on the folder or the link, and we need to import our questions. So we will click on Import. Under the Source section, you need to click on the drop-down and select the section. So we have a week number 1 quiz set of questions already created, so we'll just click on that. And then you have to select which questions do you want to be used in the quiz. So I will include all of these questions and click Save. Now you have to determine how many questions are the students presented with when they attempt the quiz. So we have a pool of 5 questions, but let's say that I want each student to only get 3 out of these 5 questions. I would change questions per attempt to 3, and then the points each 1 is just fine. So now that we have that set up, we'll click on Done Editing Questions. And the last step here is under questions per page. So since the students will be receiving 3 questions out of our pool of 5, we can just put 3 since that's the maximum number that they would be given on any quiz. And click on Apply and Save and Close. So now our week number 1 quiz is ready to go. All of the options are there, and we have a randomized section of quiz questions for the students. And that concludes how to create and modify a quiz, as well as how to add a randomized section of questions to a quiz.